Hello, everyone, and good morning. Today is Monday, May 19th, 2025, at 09:46. And today we have our day one outlook to look at for today. Today we have, okay, fine, you can stay off the charger. So today we have our day one outlook today. So here we go again. Basically, it's the same system but it shifted east basically. So basically today we have a little bit of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas under a moderate risk. We have Houston, just a little bit of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and up into Nebraska, back to Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas under the enhanced. We have a slight risk that extends from Texas through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, a little bit, Illinois, Arkansas, and going into Kentucky, Tennessee, a little bit of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia having a slight risk. And in the marginal risk, we've got parts of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, going up into a little bit of Minnesota, a little bit of South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, then back through Oklahoma into Texas. So we do have a very busy day yet again today. Basically, the same system but shifted east. Again, like I said earlier, well, I didn't say it yet, but let's hope I get through this video allergy-free. I don't know if that'll happen today, but we'll see. Excuse me. So, today we have Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Springfield, Norman, and Broken Arrow under a moderate. Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, Missouri, Arlington, and Wichita Falls, just Wichita, Kansas, under an enhanced. Nashville, Omaha, St. Louis, Lincoln, and Des Moines under the slight. And Austin, Memphis, Shreveport, Knoxville, and Huntsville under a marginal. So let's go ahead and see what we've got for today's risks. Today we have a 15% hatched tornado risk for parts of Texas, but mainly for Oklahoma. A little bit of Arkansas and a little bit of Missouri and Kansas have it, but it's mainly Oklahoma today that has it. So it kind of shifted southeast a little bit. We have a 10% hatched for parts of Texas going into Arkansas. Missouri and Kansas do have it as well. And just a teeny little bit of Nebraska having that. But, yeah. We have 5% extending from Texas through Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, up into Iowa, Nebraska, down through Kansas, Oklahoma, and back into Texas. We have a 5% that is extending from Texas through a little bit through Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, just a little bit of Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, a little bit of Minnesota having that as well. A little bit of South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas having the 2%. So, we do have that for today, too. So, we have the significant severe today for Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Missouri, and Tulsa. We have Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Norman, Broken Arrow, and Fort Smith under the 15% hatched. Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, Missouri, Arlington, and Wichita under the 10% hatched. Omaha, St. Louis, Lincoln, Des Moines, and Little Rock under the 5%. And Austin, Memphis, Shreveport, Sioux Falls, and Cedar Rapids under a 2%. I am going to have to say, strong tornadoes, definitely a possibility again today. We already had tornado emergencies last night for parts of Kansas, So there's definitely a possibility we may see that again today. So please stay safe. A strong tornado, especially in the 15% hatched area, maybe even the 10% hatched area, could see maybe a strong tornado. 5% you could see a brief EF1 tornado possible, and 2% you could just see a brief EF0, maybe an EF1 possible. So please be mindful, wherever you may be, there is a tornado threat for you today. Going into the wind threat, looks like we might have a derecho today, but we'll have to see, because we pretty much have another outbreak of severe storms today again. we've got a 45% chance hatched area for parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, and Missouri. Excuse me. We have a 30% for parts of Texas going through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and just a little bit of Nebraska. We've got a 15% that extends from Texas through Oklahoma, Arkansas, into Nebraska, into Iowa, a little bit of Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, a little bit of Indiana that actually has that. Tennessee, just a little bit of Alabama, if you can see that. And then we have Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina having the 5%. And then 15%. 5% extending from Texas through Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, a little bit of South Dakota having that, and then back through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then back into Texas. We do have that busy wind threat for today. So, excuse me. We have Tulsa, Springfield, Broken Arrow, Fort Smith, and Fayetteville under the significant severe. We have Tulsa, Springfield, Broken Arrow, Fort Smith, and Fayetteville under the 45% hatched. We have Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Missouri, Plano, Overland Park, and Kansas City, Kansas under the 30%. Dallas, Fort Worth, Nashville, Arlington, and Wichita under the 15%. And Austin, Memphis, Omaha, Shreveport, and Des Moines under the 5%. So I definitely will say, for the 45% hatch, we could see a good 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible from these storms that might develop today. I would say maybe even pushing 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So maybe 90 to 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts could be possible. That's not off the question, or not out of the question, I should say. 30% you could see 70 to 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. 15% you could see 60 to 75 miles per hour wind gusts, and 5% you could see 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So please be mindful that could be a possibility wherever you may be in the system. So today we have a hail risk of a 45% hatched for just a teeny little bit of Texas, if you can see that. But mainly Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri and Kansas do have that 45% hatched. 30% hatched for parts of Texas, do a little bit of Oklahoma, but mainly for Arkansas and up into Missouri, Kansas, and up into Nebraska as well. We have a 15% hatch for parts of Texas, up into Oklahoma, up into Kansas, up into Nebraska, over into Iowa, down into Missouri, and back down into Arkansas. A normal 15% extends from Arkansas up into Missouri, over into Illinois, and up into Iowa. We also have this 15% over here that's also normal for Kentucky, down into Tennessee, down into Georgia, over into South Carolina, up into North Carolina, and a little bit into Alabama as well. We do also have the 5% for parts of Texas, over into Louisiana, up into Arkansas, over into Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, parts of Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and back into Texas. So we do have that chance today to see some hailstones of at least maybe even softball size. So anyway, we have Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Missouri, and Omaha under the significant severe. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Norman, Broken Arrow, and Fort Smith under the 45% hatched. Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, Missouri, Arlington, and Wichita under the 30% hatched. Nashville, Omaha, St. Louis, Lincoln, and Des Moines under the 15%. And Austin, Memphis, Shreveport, Knoxville, and Huntsville under the 5%. So I definitely will say for the 45% hatch here, we could see 2 to 4 inches possible hail today for the 45% hatched area. 30% hatched area, we could also see 2 to 4 inch hail. Maybe even 4.5 inch hail for the 45% hatched area, excuse me. 2 to 4 inch hail possible for the 30% hatched area. 15% hatched area, you could see 1 to 3.5 inch hail. Normal 15%, we could see 1 to 3 inch hail. And 5%, we could see 1 to 2 inch hail. So please be mindful that could be a possibility wherever you may be today. Summary today says significant severe weather is likely for the central and southern plains into the Ozarks today, into tonight. All severe hazards are expected to include tornadoes, some potentially strong to intense, very large hail, and severe winds. So there you have it. There is the summary for today. Oh, what happened? Whoa, what happened? This is weird. Okay, well, at least the risks are still there. So anyway, there's today's hail risk. There's today's wind risk. There's today's tornado risk. And there's today's day one outlook. So I do really hope that you stay weather aware and stay safe. Please make sure you have multiple ways of receiving warnings, whether that would be your cell phone, your NOAA weather radio, your television outlet, your internet source, whatever it is you use. Make sure you stay on alert today, even after the sun goes down and even after you go to bed. Make sure you have a way of getting woken up to any warnings that, that may be issued today. But still, even if you're awake, keep an eye on the sky, stay weather aware, keep an eye on those warnings, and heed all warnings. Anyway, I will see y'all later for the Day 2 Outlook video that hopefully will be out later this afternoon. But in the meantime, stay weather aware, stay safe. Until then, take care.